What up, Bulls Nation? Peck here. We just heard from Bulls VP of Basketball Ops, Arturas Karnisovas, and we are here to break down what we heard. That's coming up next. Yikes. What's going on, Bulls Nation? Peck here, coming to you live for a bonus episode of CHGO Bulls today on NBA Trade Deadline Day. Peck, Bulls _ Peck, Big Dave with a bat, bow, AWL Sports, and sitting in for show number 2 today, Uncle Will, 4-time champ, Will _ Perdue 32, and still working hard on those controls of one and only Katie Duffy. What up, Kate? Wow. AK said a lot of things just now. We're going to play a few of the clips of what he said and react to it. But first and foremost, hello, Mr. Perdue.
Yeah, Will. Hey,
you were also working hard earlier in the day. You did Windy City Call. How's your day going so far?
It was going pretty good. I mean, I enjoyed working with, let me just say this and we'll get going.
Sure.
The Windy City Bulls staff, they understand it's G League.
Mm-hmm.
They understand they're in Hoffman Estates at Now Arena, okay? And they understand they have to basically, convince people to come to the games. There are those that come because they just love basketball.
Sure.
But they do an excellent job of, generating excitement. The giveaways are top-notch. Today was Education Day. They had 7,000 school kids.
That's awesome.
They kept them entertained. If you go to a Windy City Bulls game and you don't walk away with swag, that's on you. They do an excellent job of generating interest, genuine interest, in getting people into the building. And the games themselves are entertaining because it's very high-paced, a lot of shots. Unfortunately, Windy City lost today, but they only had 8 guys because all the two-way guys were with the big club because there's so much uncertainty with the trade deadline
last week.
Yeah, so, but I enjoy working with Mark. He makes it really entertaining, and, we have a good time calling the games.
Shout out to our guy, Mark.
Shout out.
And shout out to Windy City for doing that for the kids today. That's a good feel-good piece of news.
It is.
Which I think will be a nice,
it's a nice
palate cleanser.
Yeah.
We might need another one on the back end of what we're about to talk about now.
Expired beef liver that we're about to eat.
Yikes, expired beef liver.
Good God.
Wow. So many of you were probably hanging out with us during our deadline show just about an hour ago.
Thank you.
As we watched lots of teams around the league make some of those deals right there at the buzzer.
Yeah.
AK said, I'll stay.
That's his favorite 2 words. I'll stay.
He had a pretty lengthy opening statement. I was kind of surprised how long his opening statement was.
Yeah.
And he mentioned the fans in the opening statement, talking about, confident and, caring about bringing this team back to more competitive days and competing for championship and et cetera, et cetera. And then he started fielding questions, and boy. I mean, shout out to the beat.
Yes.
I'm sure Goat is sad that he could not be one of them. There were some hard questions levied AK's way just now. I wouldn't say he knocked them all out of the park.
He made contact.
A couple of foul tips.
Yeah, exactly.
Before we dive into some specific clips, just a general takeaway of what we heard just now, Dave.
I mean, yeah.
Were you surprised? Let me put it this way.
That's my takeaway.
We were saying in our earlier show, like, Bulls fans are dreading this, but also saying, like, I don't even know if I want to watch or feel like watching or have to watch because it's going to be the same gibberish that we hear every time he speaks.
Yeah, but
It's
Matt,
3 times a year he speaks.
that's what I was doing. I was speaking gibberish.
That's
That's what
what it
that
was.
was.
Okay, So, if anything,
it was the same old shit.
did anything he said surprise you? What
One-
caught,
one-
what caught you off guard?
The playoffs absolutely was surprising to me. Hearing that stupid statement right there was very, very surprising to me.
I'm sorry, what?
It made no sense. If you're talking about making the playoffs, why do you trade Zach LaVine?
Katie, can we find a Jim Mora on the internet? Playoffs?
It makes no sense.
Playoffs?
And also,
You kidding me?
made no sense. And also,
Playoffs?
the one phrase he continued to quote, Katie, do you have it?
Oh, God.
Mm-hmm. There it is, ladies and gentlemen.
Slogan of the day,
next
ladies and gents.
30 games. Over and over and over again.
I counted 7 times.
Yeah. Oh, man. That's a lot. To the point that Sam Smith was like, you keep saying this. What's going on? And then he said it again. The next 30 games. Do you evaluate a team like that for the next 30 games? You know when you evaluate a team like that? When your team is young and bad. That's when you evaluate your team for the next year. Not when you say, I'm trying to make the playoffs or the play-in. That's not how you do this. You evaluate when you're bad and you're trash. You say, hey, who do I keep? Who do I hold on to? What trades do I make? What contracts do I sign? That's how you evaluate the next 30 games. But then you can't turn around and say, oh, yeah, make the playoffs too. We can do that. That's not how it works, because playoffs teams aren't worried about the next 30 games, because if they make the playoffs, they're going to go and try to do it again the next year. They just add to it. They already know what they have. They're not evaluating. You're still evaluating.
Well,
it makes no sense.
Dave, he's got to find out what he has in Nikola Vucevic, all right? He needs to use the next 30 games to evaluate Vuce. Evaluate his game, figure out why he's still here.
Why he's still here. Why is he on the team? It's confusing. I hated that phrase. I hated the playoffs. I hated everything about the press conference. I have no confidence in that he can do anything right. I hated it all.
What stood out to you, Will? You've watched a lot of Bulls executive press conferences over the years.
Well, first of all, let me say that some of our fans that are watching have come up with some really creative responses.
Yes, they're funny. Yes.
There's one area where Bulls fans truly shine.
Yeah.
It is making fun of executives who just said something dumb.
When it's time for snark, Bulls fans shine. Because we have so much practice.
It's so much practice.
So much practice.
It's MJ getting up a million shots a day.
So
y'all love a Perdue pause, baby. It's the best. That should be a new segment too. Also, we should sponsor that. Perdue pause.
I got to start when I do my pauses. I got to start making faces so Katie can get that on film.
Brought to you by fertility treatment, vitamins, natal vitamins.
There it is. Right. Brought to you by Timeline.
Let me start off by saying, serenity now.
But you got to finish the statement. Serenity now.
What's that?
Insanity later.
I've already reached
We're here
insanity.
later, right?
Has anyone else joined me?
We're here at later, Will.
But what is the line in the garage where George says, "You can't"? Why don't you just say something instead of serenity now? Because serenity, that doesn't work. Right before Estelle drives the car into the garage.
Right? Yeah. Right. Exactly.
Hoochie Mama. That was it.
Mama.
Hoochie Mama. Oh my God.
Okay.
Oh man.
Just give me a second here.
Breathe, Will. Take your time, baby. You look amazing too, by the way.
Well, thank you. I actually wore this for Katie because I felt kind of guilty after Tuesday night.
Okay. About what?
Well, I can't remember exactly what I did, but I do remember seeing that head come from behind the screen with the stare, and you even commented on it.
I remember. She got that lean over to you.
Yep, and that's when I refused to look to my left.
Katie is scaring 4-time champions who are 7 feet tall. All right.
So this is what. Okay, I think golly.
See what you're doing.
Right.
See what you're doing to this man.
Try to collect your thoughts.
He is super competent and awesome.
It's
That's
hard.
what you're doing.
It's hard to do right now. It's hard to wrap your brain around what we all just listened to.
I think the best answer I could give is I'm confused.
Yeah.
Ding, ding, ding.
Yeah. Yeah.
Cowley said to AK, "Are you confused?"
Right.
Because we're confused.
It seems like you're confused.
Seems like you're confused.
Seems like you're confused about some things.
But
man.
this is how I'm looking at it.
Yes, sir.
Okay. I know. Okay, let me just say this. I mean, I'm just like, my head is spinning right now. Can you see this? I'm just like, feel like my eyeballs are spinning. You know, if I was in a doctor's office, they'd be like, "You better sit down."
AK just turned my brains into mashed potatoes.
Yeah, man.
So I want to give him credit for getting Zach LaVine's contract off the books.
Sure.
Okay. And before you use those that are at home watching, before you're pecking away and respond, just hit retract, delete, hold, just give me a second. But then when he talks about wanting to make the playoffs or the play-in to show growth, it goes back to your point. Then why did you trade Zach?
That was mine.
Yeah.
Your point.
Yes,
Yeah.
sir.
I'm seeing two of both of you right now.
Hey, it's all right.
And I haven't been drinking.
Well,
Cannot say the same.
Why do I feel like I'm in the middle of the movie Airplane? Picked a bad time to stop sniffing glue.
Katie's never seen.
Never saw. Oh, God.
Stay on track. Stay on
Okay.
track.
Don't
Now-
call me Shirley.
There's so many takeaways, but the interesting thing is that those that were there as he was reading his statement and answering questions, I think were in disbelief because they repeated the same questions, but from different individuals. Okay. It kind of reminded me of the guy at the blackjack table that has a 2 showing and the dealer has an ace. And then when he gets to him and the guy's like, and the dealer's going to be like, "Are you sure?
I'll stay.
I have an ace here and we've already checked and I don't have 21, but
I suggest you hit, sir.
would you like a hit?"
Yes.
I'm good.
I'd like a hit of something right now. I'll tell you that.
I too like to live
So-
dangerously.
Here's the thing. I walked away from that still not really understanding or knowing what the direction is and what he wants.
There
Right.
not one, and he doesn't know. No, but I mean, honestly, he said these next 30 games, trademark, AK.
Okay, but he also, listen, it's been, okay, I will say that there's been some continuity in the fact of what he says. Evaluation seems to be a very popular word. So how long do you need to evaluate guys before you know what they are?
And he also simultaneously keeps bragging about how they got all these young guys, but all of them have like 4 or 5 years experience in the league.
Yeah.
So if those are the young guys you're so jazzed about having,
Yeah.
and there's 4 or 5 years of their body of work in the NBA,
Yeah.
what do you need the evaluation for?
And
you
by
should
the
go
way-
to assembling a roster that wins.
You want to brag about your young guys, and your team is not playing them. Up
Right.
until the past week, they have not been playing the actual young dudes
You
that
won't
are on
play
your
'em.
roster.
Yep. That's the
And-
other part, Katie.
The very last of which, Modest, is, I think, most rational Bulls fans who know ball, their last cling to hope that any of these young guys that you brag about all the time could be a foundational piece of a team that actually wins
Yeah.
in April or May or, my goodness, even June.
And that part also, okay, when he said that, hey, Billy's great at playing the young guys and putting them out there. When we sit here and complain about the young guys not being able to get out there and being able to get time to be on the floor, it just happened with Modest. And here's the other thing, Matt, because now I'm starting to remember crap that happened also. How about when that dude was sitting there talking about building championship teams? Sometimes you have the 2 or 3 best guys, or sometimes you have the 9 or 10 teams, like with 9 or 10 players on your team, and you can win a title like that. That's the way we kind of look at it, is the 9 or 10. You know, those 9 or 10 teams also have generational talent and stars. You know why the Boston Celtics are so good at having all those players on their team? Because they have Jason Tatum and Jaylen Brown on their team. You know why the Detroit Pistons were so good? Because they had a Hall of Famer in Ben Wallace and another one in Chauncey Billups. You have to have these dudes on your squad. You have to have generational, once-in-a-lifetime kind of talent if you're talking about championship teams, man. You can't name me one without it. I'm sorry, but you can't. You have to have those kind of guys on your squad. I can name you teams that made it to the finals that without that, but they did not win. But if you're talking about teams that are going to win like that, you have got to have those superstars on your team in whatever kind of field it is. Ben Wallace was a superstar defensively. Chauncey Billups was a superstar when it came to the last minute and making those key big shots. It's why both of them are in the Hall of Fame. Those other teams that you're thinking of, they all had that stuff. Mm-hmm. You can talk about it with Joker and how deep that Denver team was, but you got Joker. You've got to have them dudes on your team, and you can only recoup that for this Bulls team right now in the draft. And so to be talking out of both sides of your ass when you're speaking like this makes no sense to me, man. It's dumb. It's dumb. Oh, my God. I didn't think I still had stuff in me.
That was crazy what he said about, like, it's, you don't need a star or 2 star players. 9 or 10 really good players. There's literally no evidence of that working. There's no evidence of that working.
Zero. It doesn't work.
Okay,
we got to take a quick break.
Okay.
We can all collect our thoughts.
We'll hit me with the pump
and then we're going to listen to some of these AK clips again.
No, but I want
You want to address that?
to make both your points. Let's go down the list.
Okay, I'm going to read this first, and then we're done. Then we're coming back to you, sir.
One quick ad break, then we'll go down the list.
I promise you. We're going to do
my hair out. Hit the like button.
Oh, beer. It's saving my life right now, man. And what's saving my life is the best light beer I honestly have ever tasted. And that is that Sam Adams American Light. It is delicious. Let me tell you how good it is. Matt and I were standing both in the kitchen, just standing in the kitchen. Why? Because we were waiting for the beer to get cold so we could have it. We kept asking Katie, how much time do we got? Because guess what? I had it in the freezer waiting, and now it's in our cups, and now we're enjoying it.
And Dave broke into the case that was at the time room temperature.
Yes, correct. And sealed it back very nicely,
we
too.
Drank all the cold ones.
Shout out to Jake because he
How
helped
they
me
drink
do
it in Europe.
Will out here flexing. Shout out to him, man. All right, light beer, ladies and gentlemen, it just got better. Introducing that Sam Adams American Light. Is crisp, it's clean, and super easy to drink. It literally says on the can, easy drinking. No gimmicks, no fluff. It's light beer that is made right. Because why? Because light beer shouldn't feel like a compromise, ladies and gentlemen. It's an American classic so smooth that Will Perdue would approve because he's smooth like that. Y'all will want to crack open another one and then another one. It's always, and I mean always, Sam season. Light beer just got better. Grab some Sam Adams American Light. Available now at select Chicago retailers. Must be 21. Please drink responsibly.
Yes, indeedy. Today's bonus CHGO Bulls show also brought to you by Cornbread Hemp, America's first ever USDA organic CBD company. The Cornbread Hemp's mission is to improve your quality of life with the highest quality hemp. Maybe you're looking for a healthier way to relieve aches and pains while getting a better night's sleep. I know I am all the time. That is until I started trying these Cornbread Hemp gummies.
Yes.
Which are, by the way, USDA organic certified. Cornbread offers the first USDA organic CBD gummy in the US of A. Their CBD gummies are the highest quality, full-spectrum gummies on the market. They can help with stress relief, better recovery, and improved sleep. Some things that set Cornbread's CBD gummies apart.
Tell me.
Full-spectrum, USDA certified organic. They're also made from the flower-only bits and pieces. Never the whole plant, as some people say, and some people make their gummies out of. Flour only from Cornbread. They're also vegan, dairy-free, and gluten-free with no artificial flavors or preservatives. They also offer free shipping and back all products with their 30-day Better Life guarantee. Take Cornbread's 2-minute quiz to get custom recommendations tailored to your needs, whether for aches, pains, sleep support, or stress relief. If you want to give Cornbread a try, they're offering CHGO listeners 30% off your first order. Just visit cornbreadhemp.com/CHGO and use promo code CHGO at checkout. That's cornbreadhemp.com. CHGO, promo code CHGO to get 30% off your first order. This is the good life.
All right.
Whew, all right, rolling along.
William?
Bonus show.
All right, so let's
Deadline day.
What the hell, AK?
let's go through the last
He's dead
10
inside.
real quick, just to make your point.
Mhm.
Boston Celtics, 2 guys that'll be our generational talent.
Yeah.
Then was it Denver?
Denver.
Generational talent and a guy that 2 guys that were all-stars that were playing really well.
Mm-hmm.
Probably would you say, well, Murray was playing better than Gordon, but Gordon was the X factor.
but in that championship run, Murray, Gordon, and MPJ at various points were all massive.
Correct.
Massive quality players. Shout out, Joe.
Shout out.
But you had 2 all-stars and a generational talent. Then the year before that, was that the Lakers in the bubble?
Year before that was Warriors.
Warriors.
Warriors. Well, that's
beat
all
the
we need to
Celtics.
say.
Yeah.
And then year before that,
21, Bucks, Giannis.
when was the Lakers in the
bubble was 20.
Okay. LeBron.
AD.
Yep.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Oh, that hurts.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Using the whole fist back there, Doc.
19,
Moon
Well,
River.
dude.
Raptors, bit unexpected. In-season move, got Kawhi.
Kawhi.
Playing at the peak of his game.
Hall of Famer.
Yeah.
That was probably an anomaly right there, quite honestly. But that's just like the perfect storm.
Perfect storm.
Still got a
Okay.
generational player.
No. You're exactly right. But to be able to do that in midseason and have it all come together,
Yeah.
outstanding. Okay. Then who was it before that?
Then it was Warriors twice with Steph and KD.
Oh, my God.
Yeah.
Yeah, you can scroll through, Will.
So
Look at all these teams.
you want to repeat what you just said? 9 or 10?
9 or 10 is what he said.
Now, the statement he actually made was correct, that those 9 or 10 guys will make you competitive.
Yeah.
Matt, you okay?
No, I'm not. I just got mad hearing you say that because it depends on your definition of competitive.
That's
We're gonna try and get back to the play-in, and maybe from the play-in, the playoffs. You define that as competitive because you also continuously say that you don't accept mediocrity, and you continually talk about winning championships. So which the hell is it?
pick a lane. Pick a green lane.
You can't call making the play-in tournament every year competitive. You can't.
You know the amazing.
It's not.
There's certain things. You know the amazing thing about life is there's certain shows like The Simpsons where they just throw obnoxious, absurd stuff into their shows and it comes to life like 20 years later.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
Right? Seinfeld, because right now you're talking about pick a lane. I have this vision of Kramer widening the highway.
Oh,
and opening
episode.
opening his door
On
and
these wider lanes.
Yeah.
You the paint roller on the road.
Twice. 3 times.
Ah!
All the humanity.
But then there's a lane going, woo, wide lanes. They're just creating chaos, right? But there's 2 things that come to mind, 2 sayings. Paralysis by analysis and the definition of insanity.
Paralysis by analysis, huh?
The definite doing the same thing over and over again and expecting different results.
Yes, but it's not the same thing because they traded Zach.
Yeah. Oh, this is new. Trading my best player and then still saying I'm going for the playoffs. It's so stupid. It doesn't make any sense, Will. It doesn't make any sense. It just doesn't make any sense.
We're going to have a surprise guest join us remotely coming up in 5 minutes or so. Before that, why don't we play the first one of these AK clips? Katie, this was towards the end of the press conference, but this is the legend himself, Sam Smith, asking AK to just sort of evaluate this trade deadline week and day. Katie?
Mm-hmm.
How do you feel about this trading deadline as far as what you accomplished, what you want accomplished, and how do you view it?
I mean, you know, we like what happened, you know, a couple of days ago, and we were able to execute this trade. But I think, you know, there's every trade deadline. There's a lot of opportunities. There's a lot of you know, calls that you have to make. There's a lot of calls that you're going to receive, and it's pretty busy until the last second. But I'm happy where we landed, and you know, with this group, looking forward to see them 30 games.
There was that special 30 games
30
right there, right?
games.
He snuck it in again.
There it is. 30 games.
He said he's happy where they landed.
Yeah.
Got the trade for Zach done.
Mm-hmm.
Then he explained to all of us that when you're an NBA executive and as the deadline approaches, there's a lot of phone calls involved.
Oh, really?
I didn't know that.
I
Thank
didn't
you for
either.
explaining that to me.
What's a phone?
I just can't with this dude.
Yeah, man.
I can't with this dude.
As I told, man, it doesn't make sense. Like, you can't, what did I tell you earlier about? You can't be mysterious and ridiculous at the same time.
You know, here's
Can't be both.
another thing. Drewish, Groundhog Day.
Shout out Drewish.
Druish.
Watch out for that first step. It's a doozy.
It's a
Doozy. Yes. It's
All right, now hold on. Katie, roll that back a little bit. Slowly. There we go. Rolling. Can we do the same exercise, list of champions where the team intentionally tanked and became a consistent playoff threat or champion?
intentionally the Spurs.
Spurs will get there. There's a perfect example of one, OKC.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It does work, but
Yeah.
it does take a while.
You can say Boston if you want as well.
Yeah, but let's be honest here. To me, in this league, there's only two types of teams: contenders and pretenders.
Mm-hmm.
Take your pick. Pretenders are those that are playoff teams but aren't championship worthy. You get into the playoffs, you get experience, you continue to get better. All right? Or contenders.
Mm-hmm.
Would you have considered OKC a contender last year?
Yeah.
Are they a contender this year?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So
Yeah.
where do you want to stand, on that checkerboard?
Right. And if that was Roland trying to counter argument to but tanking doesn't work either, I feel like we've been over this exercise. It's not about it's the means to an end, y'all. What's more important is finding your franchise player.
Yeah.
And the Bulls don't really have a track record of succeeding in the other avenues to explore, aka acquiring franchise players in trades or signing them in free agency. Finding them in the draft is their one and only chance.
That's it.
So why not increase your odds of choosing who you want from that draft as close to the top of the list as possible? Call it tanking if you want to. It is maximizing your chances of finding a franchise player, one that you cannot win a championship or even compete without. They don't have theirs.
Yeah. Where they got Matt at the top? Is that where we're going? At the top of there. God dang it.
I don't get it.
I don't get
the but tanking doesn't work. Explain to me where would you like the Bulls to find their franchise player? In a dusty cupboard in the Advocate Center somewhere?
Whole Foods.
Like what? Where do you think these stars come from?
Yeah, man.
Think they grow on trees?
Yeah.
Because they're not choosing the Bulls in free agency, and the Bulls can't execute trades well enough to bring one here via trade. Where do you find them? I believe it's called the draft.
See, and the biggest issue now, Matt, is what you have given Bulls fans right now. The only thing you've given them is hope and luck. That's all they have to rely on is hope and luck. And as I told you and tell y'all 1,000 times, hope is not a strategy. It's not a strategy. Yes, maybe we can luck in and come away with a big pick, and it's like that. Maybe that will be helpful for the guys and things, and yay, that would be great. But it's not a strategy. You can't paint your team into a corner and hope the pain is going to dry very quickly while you're sitting there starving for days, waiting for this paint to dry. It's not a strategy, man. And that's the position they have put Bulls fans in. And I think that's what's the most upsetting. It's upsetting for me just as a Bulls fan, knowing how I love this team very much, to sit and watch this exercise in futility continue to occur over and over and over again. Like, we had no faith coming into this trade deadline that anything was going to happen or any trade was going to be done. And they continue to execute that and say your faith is very well warranted, because we're not going to do anything but continue to give you hope. To continue to say, maybe, who knows? I love saying maybe and who knows, but it also comes from a place of logic. When your logic, you can use logic to get to that point, then it makes sense. When you've removed all of it and say, all right, let's just hope it's going to happen right now, that's a problem. It's like not planting a crop and saying, I hope something grows. You know, when you plant something, yes, you can have hope and wish and saying, I hope it turns into something that grows really nicely. That's a lot. That makes sense to me. Not planting anything and saying, I hope it works.
Shit in one hand, wish in the other.
Goodbye.
See which fills up faster.
You're starved. You're done.
Does shit weigh a lot more than hope
I believe so, yeah.
or wish?
Yeah.
Oh.
Wishes are weightless, Will.
They
That
are.
doesn't get you nowhere.
Yeah, that's it, though.
that shit'll drag you down.
That'll weigh you down.
Good thing we don't step in it.
Oh, man, they're bathing in it. No.
Force Within in the comments, I feel like we're in an abusive relationship. Anthony, why should we care when the owner doesn't? Serious question.
So,
wish I had an answer for you, Anthony.
Matt, this is an honest question. I'm not. This
Trying to
isn't.
trigger me?
I'm not. I swear to you, I'm not.
I'm already there, Will. I'm already there.
I want. So let me back up a little bit.
Beep, 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 beep.
Beep, beep, beep. Yeah. Back it up. I told you guys that within all the years that we've been together, I've come to understand. I don't understand necessarily how you think, but I like where you guys get with your points, your explanations, your understanding.
I appreciate that, Will.
The biggest thing was I believe you guys understand the game.
Thank you.
Thank
Okay?
you.
Now,
Thank you.
sometimes your passion gets in the way of clear thinking,
Mm-hmm.
but that's what fans do. I mean, fan is short for fanatic.
Mm-hmm.
This is what you've grown up on. This is what you believe in. This is what you enjoy. I mean, I'm sure you guys, the old saying is, if you have a job you love, you haven't worked a day in your life.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I'm
We
sure
love
when
this.
Peck was driving home last night, slipping and sliding, he was like, this is awesome.
I hope not.
You know, he doesn't necessarily like the product, but he likes his job. He loves his job.
Love the job.
True.
Okay.
Love the job.
So when you, I thought for sure during that press conference you were going to get very violent. I had to move. But did he say? And I'm not. Again, I'm not. Ashton Kutcher's not hiding behind one of the walls. Or anything. I stole that from one of our viewers.
Big Bears fan, don't you know?
He is. Shout out Mila Kunis.
Did he say anything that you liked?
Ooh, that's a good
Did he
question.
say anything that I liked?
That's a good question.
Agreed with, or were like, or even half-heartedly said, "Okay, I can see that, but I don't agree with it, but I can see it."
He said hello. I agree with that.
Hello,
I mean,
Jerry. Hello, Uncle Leo.
I
Still saying hello.
agree with what he said because I believe it about Lonzo Ball being looked up to and adored by his younger teammates.
Yes.
At the end of the day, that was a smart move because he becomes a valuable asset either in the offseason
Right.
or next year around the trading deadline. Because if he's still healthy and now he's got a year and a half under his belt,
Yes.
there is a contender that would love to have him coming off the bench at $10 million a year.
Sure.
You're still not going to get a first round pick, but
But a haul of seconds.
maybe you can get a healthy young point guard.
We're
to
really
combine with the 12 that I
we're really
have.
grasping at
Yes.
straws trying to add a point guard to this roster, Will. But no, so like, and we were kind of talking about it on our first show as the deadline passed. We were talking about it last night after the Lonzo news broke during that Bulls-Wolves game. Like, there's a lot of things to be upset about by what our VP of basketball just said, or what he has done and or not done over the last day, week, etc. The Lonzo signing, there is at least logic there.
Mm-hmm.
There's high risk, high reward
Mm-hmm.
to that logic, but there is logic behind it.
Correct.
If this, then that.
Mm-hmm.
If this, then that, with Lonzo Ball on these terms, with this contract, here's the money, here's the team option.
Mm-hmm.
Play this role for our young team that is shifting gears. There is logic behind it. So when you ask me, Will Perdue, is there anything he said today that I liked? That's the closest answer I can come to, because it didn't break my brain like most everything else he said did.
Yeah.
While filling me with a white-hot rage. I'm not crazy about the Lonzo deal. I expressed last night what those risks are on banking Lonzo being that guy for a couple more years. It's obvious what those risks are.
Yeah.
But you're weighing risk-reward. The reward is obvious what those rewards are for keeping Lonzo around. Logic. I can see the logic to why he did it.
Mm-hmm.
And that's where it ends for me.
Yeah. Also, let me get off this for a second, because I need to warn the people in the chat that Katie is not happy with any of you right now.
Oh,
she wants more likes.
there are not nearly enough likes.
She needs more likes in the
There are
life,
nearly enough
y'all.
likes.
It's almost 500 of y'all.
Creeping
up
up
there
on
watching
500.
this.
We got to get those likes up.
You got to give her more likes, man.
Yeah, that ratio is crap.
You know what I
Come
mean?
on now.
Give her the likes. We trying to get there. Hook her up with the likes. Please save yourself.
I mean, don't know if y'all noticed.
These-
Dave does have his wiffle ball bat.
Yes.
The plastic.
We
There's some
got
real bats.
three
But those are
bats
Katie's
on
own
set.
personal bats.
We got real baseball bats
Yeah,
here.
those are Katie's own personal. She brought it from her car.
Threatening physical violence for likes.
the
Thanks for tuning in,
Katie
y'all.
way. Yes.
Seriously, thanks for tuning in. We
Thanks for
appreciate
tuning in and hanging out with us, man. So, yeah, I didn't like the press conference. I do want to send love to the Chicago media
Yeah.
for the questions that were asked in this press conference. Sam Smith, Joe Cowley, Drew Stevens. My God.
We're going to get
Drew
to one of the
Stevens.
answers that came from one of his questions
Yes.
later on.
Yes, everybody did an excellent job.
Julia
asking.
Poe asked great questions.
Elias Schuster, our guy, who's our guy? Cody Westerland.
Cody Westerland.
Tony Gill.
Shout out Tony.
Like, yeah, everybody
Getting a question in there.
was on their A game in this press conference, asking questions, saying, "What are you doing? What are you asking?" Segue.
Speaking of people who were in that room when it happened, I heard a
Room
jingle.
where it happened.
Katie, let us know if and when we're
The room
able to
where
bring
it
in a
happened,
nice
the room where
little
it
special guest
happens.
right now. Good to go?
Let's do it.
Let's bring him in. The guy who just asked AK if he's confused about where he is and what he's doing. The one and only Joe Cowley on that Bulls beat for the Chicago Sun-Times. Bulls fans either love him or love to hate him.
Yes.
Joe, what's up, buddy? How you doing?
Good. How you guys doing?
Not good.
Hanging to my last threads of sanity, Joe. What did
That
you
was,
make of what you just witnessed there?
That was not winning the presser. We can definitely say that. Here's what I will say, and I wrote and I stand behind. Look, the words failed, but I'm going to give him the benefit of the doubt with actions at this point, because that's all he has left in my book. I was told that behind the scenes he is operating with a more specific plan. I was told that he is operating with more frustration and urgency that he showed today. I think they have a pretty good feel coming out of this trade deadline that there will be aggressive moves made this offseason. But again, I'm done with words. I have to see the actions. And as much as I hate to be patient with people, and give the benefit of the doubt when the benefit of the doubt has been burned, I am willing to see if he can ride this thing out into the offseason, like I was told behind the scenes is actually going on. So I can tell you that Billy and the coaching staff have been told that the younger guys, especially Modest, play them more. It's now trial under fire. Don't punish them for mistakes now. Let them ride them out. And if that means losses along with development, then that's a win-win. So that's good, the understanding of that. I questioned him on the idea of a playoff push. He explained it a little better, but I understand that he's paranoid about how the NBA looks at him because they got their wrist slap a couple years ago. But don't even bring up playoffs for us at this time. Please, just don't do that. So, look, he lost the press conference in so many ways, but I have been told by very reliable sources that he's just a guy that does not want to show anything up his sleeve, and to his own detriment, it showed itself today.
That to his own detriment is the key part for that. For me, I don't mind you not sharing all details with us, but
right.
The details he is sharing with us makes us wonder if he can even do this job. And so that's what's the confusing part about it, Joe.
Yeah, the Vucevic thing I understand, because their feeling is that Vucevic is not going to be a big factor in where they are in the standings. It's more about kind of his presence with the younger guys moving forward and handing this thing off. Look, if worst case scenario, Portland and say Philadelphia get their crap together and jump them, which is very realistic at this point, they're not going to drop further than that's it. That's the cutoff. So then you're talking about a difference between I think it's 7.4% and 5.3% to get number one. You're talking less than 2%. So they don't think trading Vucevic when the offers were underwhelming really does much for them when they feel like this summer, when teams reset, when teams actually know what's in their bag, teams have gone through the draft, they've started free agency. They feel like with his pure expiring contract and with the reset of teams that they will get more for him, including draft assets. You know, he was asked about draft assets, which was a good question as far as where he values them. Again, just a crappy answer that was kind of convoluted, but he eventually did say that the priority is draft assets, development, and then leading to landing a star player.
Real quick, Joe, do you agree with his notion, if that is the case, that they can find more value for Vooch this summer than they could have now?
I actually do, because I don't think Vooch is going to factor in much wins or losses, and I do like the idea of don't make a trade just to make a trade when all of a sudden this summer teams look and say, okay, this is a $21 million expiring contract. There's nothing prorated. We now know what our books look like for the next season, instead of the uncertainty of, well, we don't know what things are going to look like next season. We don't know, what the cap is going to be set at exactly. Everyone's going to know everything this offseason. I think it'll make it easier to move. The one thing I don't understand is why not unload and again, unless they've been told something intel-wise about this summer, the Kobe Josh thing does not work. It's nothing personal between the two guys. They don't work on the court, and I think we're all seeing that. And this team is going to invest in Josh Giddey. It's not going to invest in Kobe White moving forward. So I would have liked to have seen something aggressively done there. But again, maybe they have intel that they can do something this summer. That's why I'm giving it a to be continued. But the words and the presser, everything could have just been handled so much differently, where you don't walk away happy about the team, but you don't walk away wanting to jump off a ledge and you hate the team. And I think there's a lot of that going around the city right now.
Go ahead, Will.
So, Joe, your question was that you thought that Arturas sounded confused.
Yes.
And you weren't the only one that, I used the example was it's kind of like the guy at the craps table, at the blackjack table that has a 2 showing and the dealer has an ace and he holds. But you weren't the only one. It was. Do you think everybody was stunned by that opening statement?
I don't think any media member came out of that presser going, that was good. I feel good about it. So there was none of that. I circled back and talked to sources that I value and I think are pretty high up in this thing. And I just think Arturas I don't think he's a great public speaker, first of all. I think he has admitted to that. That doesn't help the situation. But I just think there is this whole just this cape of secrecy he wants to operate under. It's just too old school. I mean, you got guys that, whether it's Woj or Shams, they can break what the draft pick's going to be before the commissioner even announces it. And this is an agent league, player league now. The front office is just kind of tools in this thing. And I know they're trying to get control back with probably what we just saw at this trade deadline. But it's just it's not the smartest mentality to have at this point with the fan base, because everybody is so dialed in. Fans are a lot smarter. Everyone has sources. Everyone has leaks. For him to think that this organization is sealed, it's just not the case. So I just wish he would just kind of talk to the media or talk publicly like he kind of talks to us when he's just BSing. And maybe that's just not the man's makeup, but I think he did not convey what needed to be conveyed and what I think is going on from reliable sources behind the scenes. And again, that's fine, but I need to see actions, and I need to see actions by July, or forget it. I'm out, and I will treat this. I will be a hostile witness and treat this just like I treated Garpax the last X amount of years they were at it. Because now you've not only sinned against this organization, but now I can't even trust that the sources around you even know what you're doing, because you're lying to them, and then I'm done with you.
Do you happen to have any information on what was the offer from Golden State and what prevented the trade from being completed? Do you happen to have any of that?
I don't know the details, but I think it was a solid offer contingent on them not getting Durant or Jimmy. And obviously they got Jimmy. So I think both sides kind of agreed that, hey, this is the consolation prize. I think it was a pretty good, where they felt good about it, and that was as good as they got. I know that for a fact the Knicks were kicking around on some of the guards. I reported that, but it never got serious. It didn't get to that stage. It was more about the Knicks looking for depth, and I think the Bulls just wasn't a fit there. So, but the Golden State thing, they wanted to hit a home run, and Vooch was the consolation prize, and unfortunately they got a 2-2 pitch, weenie high right down the middle, and put it out in the outfield.
Joe, when do you think AK started really diving into this veil of secrecy? Because when he first got here, one of the things I applauded was just how transparent he was being about his plan and what he wanted to do and how he wanted to make this team better, and basically saying what he wanted to do and then going out and actually doing exactly what he wanted to do. So when do you think that changed, where he just became just this secrecy guy?
What I think is he was told the crimes of the last regime, and so came in wanting to have this, veil of, transparency, but that's just not him. So I think all along, I think that was the initial thing, because I've even brought that up to him, that what about, there was going to be more transparency, there was going to be more, I mean, say what you want about Pax. I could text Pax at 3 a.m. and he would get back to me immediately. It might be like a middle finger emoji or something, but he'd get back to me. Where here, there's just nothing. I mean, if you're on a limb because you're hearing something and you ask about it, it's, I'm not going to say anything one way or the other. Okay, so not, but then don't come back to me and say, well, why'd you report that? That was wrong. Because sometimes, you feel pretty good about a source. And if you're not going to help me when I'm on that limb, that's kind of shame on you too. So, that's the balancing act we have to kind of walk with this front office. I will say in the last month or so, there has been more pulling, and it's just been on the road, obviously, pulling the beat writers that are on that trip aside and saying, hey, this is kind of really what we're thinking. This is kind of, where it's coming from. And I think we've tried to convey some of that when we can, whether it's KC or Julia from the Tribune or myself. But it's tough, you know. I mean, it's like they're saying, "Hey, this is what's really going on," but you can't report it. Well, then don't tell me that. It's almost like to the point. Well, just don't tell me that. I'd rather, you know, I'm trying to do right by you, but at the same time, you can't tell me a nugget and then not expect me to be able to be respectful enough to the fan base and to be that voice of the fan.
Whoops.
So, great picture too, by the way.
Oh,
Yeah, he was getting
No,
too close.
was
He was getting too close.
the Bulls CIA.
Right.
Yeah, this
Oh, there he
this
is.
is what's going on. So
Okay.
what
Before I
happened?
let
They try to cut me off here.
Yeah.
No, you good. You good, Joe.
Bull CIA froze you for a second. Before we let you go, Joe, I am curious when you were saying, like, you know, we'll wait and see this off season, laying the groundwork, and we know we need to make more moves, and then you'll judge them. Gonna be patient, just in the sake of holding the grade as an incomplete for right now. AK still brought up 3.5 years ago now, when I believe it was Drew Stevens who asked him a question about why should fans still have faith in you leading this team in the right direction, because how can you say you're better off in a better spot than when you took over? And he referenced, well, we got off to that great start 3.5 years ago. Like, their patience and trust only go so far, and he's still bringing that up.
Yeah, that's bad. I don't want to hear about 3.5 years ago anymore. I don't care about that team. That team, it didn't work. It failed. If you're a good executive, not only do you have a plan A, but if it doesn't work, you have a B, C, and D. These guys had a plan A, put everything into it, and really didn't seem to understand how to pivot from it. I mean, look at you want to see an organization that's kicking some ass right now? Look at the Cleveland Cavaliers are doing. They're like built the team a perfect build out of a team. And this is a small market freaking team. This is Chicago, where you're supposed to be a global brand, by the way. And then even today, they get their ass kicked by Boston the other night, and they're like, we need more wing defenders. Oh, DeAndre Hunter, let's go get him. I mean, just that's just telling your fan base, we get it. You get what we're doing. Let's get this thing together. It's not going on here. That's not what's going on here. So,
Real quick, Joe, you mentioned him real quickly. How do you feel about your boy Jimmy Butler being with Golden State?
The Warriors got the Warrior. That's how I feel about it. Jimmy
back in the championship hunt, Joe?
Back in the hunt,
Warriors,
baby.
can you come out and play?
Come out and play.
I'm sure that will give you endless entertainment down the stretch. Hopefully the Warriors make some playoff noise with him.
We'll see.
Joe, we
It'll
appreciate
be fun with him.
Joe,
is you got something for him?
no, is your boy playing Saturday?
I think so.
You guys going out to dinner?
Maybe brunch.
He's fancy like
they're
that.
gonna get some coffee, but it's gonna be Jimmy
We'll get some coffee.
overcharging him for Jimmy's coffee.
Big face.
Yeah.
Jimmy's buying. Trust me.
Yeah,
Yes,
better
sir.
be
Yes, sir.
after that extension last night.
Yes, sir.
Bulls Nation, read his stuff. Chicago Sun-Times. Jay Cali Hoops. If you can handle the Twitter grenades, appreciate the time, Joe. Appreciate the work.
Thank you, Joe.
All right, boys. Take care.
You too, bro.
Oh man,
Always appreciate him, man.
it's. I love that he asked AK. It seems like you're confused.
Right. You know, like, I don't know if you
We're
know
going
what
this
you're
way. We're going
Yeah.
this
I
way.
don't know if you know how this works. But,
Oh,
you know,
Lord.
people drive straight and not in reverse. That's how it goes.
Oh,
I appreciated Joe for bringing some calm to
Yeah.
which is wild that Joe Cowley is bringing calm to let you know where we're at. But just it's interesting to hear him say he's willing to give them on certain things a benefit of a doubt and willing to, you know, let them see things play out before he completely, you know, goes nuclear on them in July, because that's kind of what I was doing when they traded Zach, was letting things play out, and I saw how it played out, which is why the bat came out. But him continuing to wait on this and say, lets me know that he's saying he's heard some things behind the scenes that we aren't privy to.
sure.
And so that's giving him cause, you know, to pause and to just wait and let things go.
And Joe Cali doesn't give anybody a pass.
No.
So
no, he does not.
what he's hearing from his source, he must truly believe.
Yeah.
But
Agreed.
as he said, what was his question the other night about a duck?
Yeah.
Oh.
If it quacks like a rebuild and walks like a rebuild, it's probably a rebuild.
And Billy just went,
But AK just went,
So it's something he knows, he's heard and told something that is making him pause.
Right.
But basically, as he just says, you've got till the off season before now I start using gasoline instead of matches.
But see, that's where, it's nice of Joe to give him that leeway.
Shout out.
We've also already heard that line from AK before. The just you wait and see.
Oh, man,
You remember that?
Big crap.
Remember when
my
season-ending
God.
press conference? It was like
Yeah.
everybody, like the media brought it to him hard
Yep.
that day and fast that day,
Just you
and he was like, "Why y'all jumping down my throat?" It was like,
Just you
just because you went 40 and 42 and then lost in the play-in tournament and sat here at the deadline and did nothing. That's why we're jumping down. And he was like, "Hey, whoa, wait, hold on now. Let's all hold on now. Just you wait and see."
Wait and see.
And then he signed Javon and Torrey Craig.
Just you wait and see.
Like-
Andre Drummond.
He's already played that card.
Yeah.
Just give me a little more time, and then I can really show you the cards that I'm
Just
working with here.
Drock it.
He's already played that card.
Yeah.
And it was bullshit.
Katie.
But simultaneously, it's like, give me more time and I can do this.
Right.
And
right.
yet he also needs more time to evaluate players that have been here for 4 years already.
Give it a drug addict another. I just need another $100.
Yes.
Just need another 100. Just another
Look,
100.
just one more hit and I'm done,
I
man.
just need one more year of
Just
job
one more.
security. Man, take your drugs and your job security. Get the fuck out of my face.
That is a good analogy right there, man. That's just one more. I promise you, I'm good for it. All right, just one more, dog. I promise you.
I just want one more extension, Jerry. Just one
Come
more
on,
extension.
baby. Come on, baby. You know I'm good.
I have one question for you.
Uh-oh.
How much for one rib?
We're Purdue. Told about one rib.
Is he
Katie
that,
doesn't understand that,
is he
but it's
that
okay.
Hasn't seen that
terrified?
either.
Hadn't seen that either.
Is he that terrified of the fact that they penalized him for the Lonzo tampering
That's so
many
wild.
years ago?
Are you that afraid?
Are you that afraid to
You know-
say anything or show any transparency about what's going on here?
But as I told you, man,
But
scared money makes none.
this is true because it's either that or this dude is really so freaking delusional that he wants to go to the play-in tournament and then maybe the playoffs.
Right.
There is no way that the person in charge of your basketball ops right now can have that opinion and mean it earnestly. If you know what is best for your organization now and moving forward, that is lunacy to be talking about playoffs instead of draft picks right now. Insane. Are you that terrified of a penalty from the league? Guess what? Look around the East and West. Plenty of teams racing to the bottom, not afraid of the league right now. For the love of God.
We don't get it. We don't understand.
Dun, dun, dun.
So going forward, though, Will, 'cause that's all we can really do. Going forward, what do we look? Because I'm very confused about the roster and what they have.
Well, so is everybody else.
Yeah. So I'm like, what going forward? What am I looking at? Because you have all these guys, but then you're saying, well, we're prioritizing young guys, but then say, yeah, well, it's cool if we make the play-in and the playoffs, and then
That's growth.
say, yeah, right, and then say, yeah, we got Lonzo Ball back too, so we want him to obviously play and be out there. Like, what should we be looking at, like, and looking forward to as far as this team is concerned? Outside of course, Modest Ellis.
That's what I was going to answer with.
Oh, go ahead. I'm sorry. I didn't mean to take your answer, sir. I'm sorry. I
Okay.
love to hear modest praise.
Okay, so this is moving forward. This is your roster. So there are certain guys that need to play to answer questions. Okay, Kobe does not need to. If evaluation
Next 30 games.
next 30 games is what we're truly focusing on, and that's not a smokescreen.
Mm-hmm.
There are guys that need to play. The 3 guys that you traded for need to play. That's 3. Okay. Modest needs to play. Patrick Williams needs to play. Dalen Terry needs to play. That's 6 right there. Okay. Io, we know who he is. Kobe, I feel very confident that I know who he is.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. We want to continue to extend Lonzo's career. We know who he is. We know who Vooch is. So, because here's the thing is that I think, and I'm not attacking Billy, I'm just saying that we don't know what his rotation is at this point.
Mm-hmm.
And this was before they traded Zach.
Mm-hmm.
Because he's constantly switching up his rotation and goes deep into the bench. So from me, I think you have to identify who on this team possibly has a future with this organization, okay, to get them pointed in the right direction and is more valuable on the team than on somebody else's team from an asset standpoint. And that's what we really don't have a question for. I think we understand who some of these players are, but what we don't understand is how they fit into the equation because we're not sure what the equation is. It's like being given a math test that has 6 steps, but the teacher leaves out 3 of the steps. So how do you get to the answer then?
Ooh, that's brilliant.
So that's, and you need, what's the point guard from San Antonio?
Trey Jones.
So right now you have Trey Jones.
Yep.
Lonzo. Kobe. And Io. You got 4 point guards.
Keep going.
Josh Giddey.
Yeah, but Josh is a point forward. He's not a point guard, but he's a point forward, but he serves the same role. I will give you that.
There you go.
Okay, don't say your boy Dalen Terry. He's not a point guard.
I would never say that.
He's a 2 guard, but.
Barely.
So this is, I mean, Billy's, this will be interesting.
Yeah.
Because it's A, who do you start moving forward? B, is it a constant revolving door on your starters? C, how do you set a certain rotation so that if hypothetically what Arturas is saying, you try to win as many games as possible, or is it all a smokescreen? And this is getting put on Billy's plate. So basically, to me, with 30 games to go, the Timberwolves game was a perfect example of what the rest of the game should be like. You're competitive, play hard, you're close, you gave yourself a chance, you lose, and that draft pick gets a little better, a little better, a little better, and you can still evaluate your guys. And then as Joe said, now all the cards are on the table and something needs to happen that says we now have officially picked a lane. We're not that guy that's driving in between the slow lane and the fast lane, blocking both lanes, so nobody can get by.
Right. Makes sense, man.
Do we want to listen to those other 2 AK clips?
Sure.
Let's listen to them.
Yeah, we made them. Let's hear it.
Katie, all right, so this one is him responding to a question from Jamal Collier about prioritizing players over draft picks.
Okay. Shout out Jamal Collier.
I just want to ask you about, we saw over the summer the trade you made for Caruso's for a player, not a bunch of draft picks. Even with Zach, you got a bunch of players back, your own draft pick. And just your philosophy again on draft picks. Why have you sort of, seems like not prioritized stockpiling extra draft picks for this that we've seen other teams, and kind of how you've valued players instead of that? What is your philosophy just on that?
No, I think we've obviously valued draft compensation and young players and then flexibility, I think in that order. But again, we have 9 players that are between 20 and 25. I think you have to have a right mix of players in order to grow. You can't just roll out, young players and think that they're just going to develop on their own. I think you need a right vets, experienced guys to be around, and I see, in that Vooch and, keeping Zoe in that kind of role.
It's weird because it's for me, it's like building and tearing down at the same time. I need experienced vets to, talk to the young guys, but I got to let the young guys play. Usually a team starting over is just like, okay, young guys are out there. You might have the experienced vet, for me, Will, usually comes in the form of a guy that you know is about to retire, or a guy who is coming off the bench and is just there on the bench to talk to those guys, about what it's like being a professional in the NBA, or maybe showing them certain things that are happening on the floor. I understand it then. We watched the Bulls do that a few times when they would bring in, especially during those terrible years, and they would have Antonio Davis.
Mm-hmm.
Was a huge part of that, but he wasn't somebody they were relying on to be out there playing or anything like that. But he was definitely someone they were definitely someone they were okay with having on their team, just being that veteran. So I'm cool with that aspect of it. But the way they're setting it up, it's like those veterans are your starters, and that's where I get confused. And it's like, are you starting over, rebuilding? Are you trying to win? And they're like, the answer is yes. I get lost sometimes.
It's like Nazi Muhammad.
Yes.
My man.
Yeah. Like, I don't mind those kind of veterans, man. Like, but they're not playing.
No, and the backlog at guard, specifically, point guard, inexplicable. If you've already leaned towards picking Io over Kobe, and also seeing in this sample size of games that Kobe and Giddey don't particularly mesh well together, and that Giddey's the one you brought here and Giddey's the one you want to keep, then why the hell is Kobe White still here when you could have gotten assets for him?
Seriously.
Vooch. Oh, well, the veteran mentorship, and Cowley relaying the whole it's probably not going to make a big difference standings-wise and draft lottery standings-wise with or without Vooch, so why not just keep him if we didn't love the offers?
He helps you win.
He does help you win. And also, I disagree with what Joe agreed with AK with, if that is in fact correct, that they can get more for him this summer.
Yeah.
I know it's an expiring, but it's still a 35-year-old center.
Yeah.
Who's for $21.5 million, and whose current efficiency is plummeting from his red-hot start.
Yeah.
I'm not sure if they could have gotten more for him if they can get more for him this summer than they could have gotten for him just now. I am not convinced of that. I am not convinced of that.
I agree. I don't think we've seen it.
And you have your veteran leader. His name is Lonzo Ball. You just signed him to 2 more years. I don't get it.
Yeah, we just watched.
You know what you really need to start a rebuild properly?
What's that, Matt?
A bevy of draft picks in the hopes that one of them turns into your franchise player.
What's that like?
I don't get it. All right, this is the last one. I can only take so much of this self-mutilation. Arturas Karnisovas responding to our guy Drew Stevens, other bigs, who was just here on this set with us last night.
Shout out.
Pre and post. Asking AK about having the trust of Bulls fans.
Arturas, there's an argument to be made that this franchise is no more relevant today than it was when you took over.
Mm-hmm.
Why should Bulls fans believe that you're the person who's going to steer this franchise back to prominence, and what is your plan to do so?
Well, I communicated that in my opening statement, pretty much that, obviously 3.5 years ago, we put a group together, and that didn't work. Right now, we're taking a step back a little bit and got younger, but we in complete control of our draft picks, and looking forward to what we can do the rest of the season, and we'll go to the draft and free agency, try to improve our team.
Complete control.
The answer was so bad that Perdue gave up and left. Just kidding. He'll be back in a second.
Can't take it anymore.
First of all, great question from Drew Stevens.
Yeah, absolutely.
Because that's a valid question.
Yeah.
Why should fans continue to put faith and trust in you being the right person to get this team back on the right track when, honestly, think about it. I know they inherited kind of a mess from Gar and Pax.
Sure.
At least I believe they inherited a mess.
Okay.
But they were given full reins.
They were.
From the Bulls.
Mm-hmm.
Do what you want to do, what you need to do to get this team back to being relevant. And AK said, all right, I'm going to give up a lot of draft capital in one of these young pieces that my predecessors drafted in the Vooch trade. Wendell, 2 firsts. And again, as you were saying, Dave, there was a point in time when he did have the faith of a large portion of this fan base.
Yeah.
Even if it was a sturdy price for Vooch, that summer of 21, Bulls fans were doing cartwheels.
Man. Back
You know what the difference was?
Mm-hmm.
It was a Bulls front office executive assertively making moves to add talent to the team. Something that his predecessors seemingly gave up on trying to do in their last number of years on the job. That's why it felt different. That's why Bulls fans did have faith in AK and Eversley in that first year and a half. Because they made things happen. We saw evidence of them trying to build something. But to hear him bring that team up today as 3.5 years ago, what does it remind you of? Well, when Derek went down.
Yeah.
Bulls fans hate that.
Yeah.
Okay, that happened. That's a bummer. You are in a very high position of power in a multi-billion-dollar sports organization. You know, we don't know exact figures, but guessing you get paid pretty handsomely to do the job. Where, as Kyle Lee just said, where's plan B? Where's plan C? Where's plan B-1? Where's plan B-2?
Don't exist.
Lonzo Ball got hurt. The team started to unravel, and they sat around and did nothing for 3 years. And his answer to why should Bulls fans still trust that you're the right man for the job is, 3.5 years ago, ... Are you freaking kidding me? Are you freaking kidding me? And he said it didn't work out. And, we got younger. And look, they did. With the departure of DeMar, Caruso, LaVine, the roster is younger than what it was last season. Drummond, but
just like a tad.
But it's also still just like, okay, but you know that you need to get even younger.
Right.
AKA going to the draft this year and next year.
And getting younger players.
And picking as high as you can.
Yeah. Yeah.
I don't understand why he doesn't understand that part of it or is being so secretive about it. But I'm honestly terrified that it's not he's just being secretive and cagey about it.
Yeah.
I'm terrified that he thinks that he wants to go to the play-in tournament with this exciting group of young players.
Yeah.
Not seeming to fully grasp the fact that you don't have your franchise player yet. So what's the freaking point?
Yeah. What you got for me, Will?
I think we're out of time.
Yeah. I'm past out of time.
Yeah. Let's get out before I destroy the set again.
Yep. You didn't swing that bad?
I did. I told you I was done. I told you I got it out.
You should have seen him in the first show today, Will. This coffee table took a beating.
I missed it.
Oh.
You can rewatch it again.
You can. It's just the episode prior to this one in our CHGO Bulls YouTube playlist.
Yeah.
Oh, my God.
I'm sure there are clips out there and stuff of it. So.
Sure. Thank you, everybody, for hanging out with us today. Thank you, those of us who hang out with us for 2 hour-plus long shows today.
Thank y'all, man.
One earlier and this one just now.
It's like 3 hours of content you got out of us today. That's crazy.
You know what that probably deserves is maybe a like or two before we get out
can
of
we
here,
get to 200 before we get out of here?
Come on now.
3 away from 200.
Like
with
for
3
It's been a long,
away.
We just get to 200, then Katie will do the Empire jingle on Saturday.
But there's no jingle in this song, so no, I will not.
See, he said Saturday.
If we get to 200 on Saturday, I'll do it on Saturday.
Hey, there's your 200.
There it is. You heard it.
All right.
Just want to make sure y'all heard that. Get to 200 on Saturday. Katie will sing the jingle again. And oh my God, what an amazing voice. Ooh, I mean, just the dulcet tones of one Catherine.
She's keeping that from us this whole time?
It was special.
Yeah.
So, you know what? I didn't want to tell you guys this a couple weeks ago, but I'm going to do a karaoke birthday party. Oh. And if I hadn't done the jingle before that, I think you guys might have crucified me.
Oh. You're absolutely right.
Yeah. That's correct.
Burned to the ground.
So let me, real quick.
Yeah.
I know there were very big moves made.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. But quietly, the Cleveland Cavaliers might have made the most important move.
Talk to me.
Hunter?
Because what did that move signal? That they had acknowledged what they needed was more defense.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
They needed better wing defenders than what they have because they gave up a lot.
They did.
But also that's an organization understanding how small that window can be.
Yeah.
To truly, and I think Cleveland is a contender.
Without a doubt.
Now, what is the biggest thing that Cleveland's had a problem with? Staying healthy.
Mm-hmm.
But if they stay healthy, have a full roster, and now they have DeAndre Hunter looming on the perimeter, who can basically guard Giannis, can guard. I mean, he can go back and forth on, both guys in Boston.
Yes, that one.
Our CGRTs just said that in the comments.
I know it didn't make a big splash, but they overpaid because they recognized what they needed and they went out and they got it.
Yeah. I mean, it's whether or not it'll work out, you could definitely say the Warriors overpaid for Jimmy.
Yeah.
Between the
big
extension
time,
and what they gave up to bring him there.
But that's also an organization acknowledging that they have a generational talent that is getting, I don't want to say he's getting worse, but now he's starting to slow down.
Right. They understand the window that they're in. Whether
And
it's
yes,
win
they-
now, championship contention, rebuilding.
But they've rewarded him financially, but they owe him one more opportunity to try to go out as a winner.
Without a doubt. We just had a DeAndre Hunter discussion on the last show we were on, and I was just talking about when Drew Stevens was here, just how good he is, for that team. And just hearing that the Cavs are like, oh, yeah, we're going to go get him, just makes it even better because he's not going to be asked to be one of your top best players on the squad.
But right now, the Golden State Warriors remind me of the old joke, the guy that's got 1 foot on a banana peel and 1 foot in the grave.
Yeah,
Because they're taking a huge risk.
Okay.
Huge. Because what have you seen Jimmy do in Minnesota?
Destroy.
Philly?
Destroy.
Miami?
To the ground.
Now,
Chicago.
did he take him to the
Chicago.
NBA Finals?
Sure.
But
He did.
But then he ended up holding the Miami Heat hostage.
Burned.
Sure did.
So you're taking to me, Dunleavy put his job on the line.
Yeah.
And he hasn't been there that long.
Oh, that's a fact. Expired.
I'm not saying I'm not saying he doesn't know what he's doing, but that's an organization understanding a window that they're basically admitting they may never get a player like Steph Curry again.
Yeah.
And they have to honestly give this guy a real chance because LA went out and pulled off the impossible.
They did. Oh, my God.
Okay. They got a lot of help. But at the same time, if that's the case, you got to keep pace.
Just another year, Will, when we do nothing.
The Bulls don't need their next Steph Curry, Will, because Vooch and Io and the gang are going to go gain all kinds of learning experiences and have some fun in the play-in tournament.
Hooray!
Until we all die.
Yay! We just talked about, man, how come we never talked about the trade deadline? And the one time we talked about, we're laughed at. That's a problem, man. Again, another problem for another day.
Before another day, real quick, did we get any super chats on this one, Katie, that we got?
Yeah, we did.
Agent Michael Scarn.
Oh, the Will
back in the
Perdue
super
bump.
chat column. I'm out to get a Peck lost his shit. Katie yelling about trades. Even Big Dave is wielding a bat in fury. Balls are now at threat level midnight. Love it.
Classic.
Shout out to Kimberly saying he confirmed that they are charting a path, i.e., no plan yet. Can you read this map, Dave? I'm not sure. Am I holding it up right side up? Oh my God. Shout out to our guy Kalen Cox,
What's a
who said
compass?
Bulls fans need a petition for East-West playoffs to be abolished so Bulls can't even sniff the play-in. Then we might see some change. Ding, ding, ding. I think the league doesn't want to do it because what if you got Boston, LA in the first round because of the way that seeds 1 through 16 end up matching up. I have been all for it for a long time. Abolish the conferences.
I'm not for it. I've never been for it.
Mitch, the Saints fan, with a super chat saying, if Joker wasn't Joker, AK would be a random assistant somewhere. I think reporters didn't go hard enough today. He shows his face in public twice a year, make it count. Wish Matt asked him questions. When you say hard enough, you're talking rated R. When you say bring Matt in here, because Matt is going to not ask questions to AK. It will be to everyone in the organization.
Yeah, that's not
the difference.
Talking about you can't go any harder and still have a question. At that point, you're just yelling at someone.
Yeah, right, exactly.
And your credential will be revoked.
Which is my job. Dave and I are fans.
Yeah.
Will, 4-time champ, analyst, expert,
yeah,
GOAT.
I'm still a fan.
Also partly fan, for sure. Goat's the one who asked the questions.
Yeah.
And shout out to Tony Gill and our guy Patrick for holding it down in Goat's place.
Yeah.
They were there.
They were.
Tony asked a question. I prefer to, as a fan, sit in this comfy chair and yell when I don't like the answers.
Yeah.
That's my job because
It's not bad.
It's hopefully cathartic for all of you out there who feel like we do.
And Matt, you do it very, very well, sir.
Well, so do you, sir.
Well, I appreciate
You
that.
swung that bat with authority today.
Hey, so I have one more question.
Sometimes you got to pop out and show
Yeah.
them.
For you guys.
Yeah.
Last question of the day.
Do you think they'll go with cotton uniforms?
The Seinfeld references are off the chain up in here, ladies and gentlemen.
Hey,
Katie, have you watched Seinfeld?
I don't know, but I hope the
Okay.
I hope the Kennedy's lanes are wider on my drive home. I hope the ice is gone.
This is what I'm going to do at the end of every show for the next 30 games.
Drop a Seinfeld reference?
Costanza.
Another one.
What is this? I don't know. I'm feeling like
George
that
is getting
conversation between Jerry and George at the diner right now. What is this? What is this? What are we doing?
What are we doing?
What are we doing with our lives?
We're not real men.
What kind of lives are these?
How do you eat yours? With your hands?
Matt, do you really wear a 32 but have write 31 on your...
I don't want to be a 32.
That's private information. Thank you to stay out of my personal affairs.
It's literally on the back of his jeans.
Thank you again, everybody who tuned in today, both times or one of the two.
Thank you.
On a very crazy day for Bulls fans. And guess what? The season goes on. The Bulls are off tomorrow. They'll be back in action Saturday, taking on the Warriors.
Next 30 games, as AK said 7 times.
Show it one more time, Katie.
We got 30 games.
Next 30
I don't know
games,
if you guys do
y'all.
this, but we got 30 games.
Next 30 games. One more time. There it is.
Thank God it's 30 left and not 52 left.
Oh, thank goodness.
Whew, man.
My God.
Each one, I'm just like, okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Checking it off.
Okay.
All-Star break is next week, ladies and gents.
Oh, God.
Yes.
Need
Yes.
it.
I had to say that for the crew. All-Star
Are you
break
guys
is
doing
next
shows during All-Star
week.
break,
Yeah,
or are you
was-
taking the All-Star break off?
Well, so no, we will make sure that y'all have the promised always amount of content leading into All-Star break and the week coming out of it. 5 shows a week. We'll still have that for y'all. Some of them might be evergreen episodes while we are somewhere else not thinking about the Bulls,
Parts unknown.
taking off a day or two.
Mm-hmm.
But
on
yes.
a beach, baby. I'm gonna be on a beach.
And, you know, look, am I going to tune into the dunk contest to watch hopefully Modest win it? Yeah, you
Without a
bet your
doubt.
ass I will.
Yeah. Can't wait to watch
What are
it.
you doing for All-Star break, Will?
Golfing?
Yes, I'll be in Palm Springs.
Oh, the flex.
Will's gonna come in here and do an hour-long show by himself, just monologuing, since we're gonna be on vacation.
I like that. I like
Sure. Then I'll wonder why the lights aren't on and the TV's not on and nobody's recording. And how come we're not getting any likes?
that. Oh, appreciate the 4-time champ for making the trip from out in Windy City after doing their matinee game earlier today, so we
Appreciate
could get
that,
your
Will.
thoughts on the deadline and the
sure.
press conference. Follow him, Will_Perdue32,
He's
and
invaluable.
official Will Perdue on the Instas. Big Dave's a bow. BAWL Sports. I'm Bulls_Peck. We are CHGO_Bulls. Shout out once and again and always to the tireless efforts of the one and only queen of the controls, Katie Duffy, a true superhero this week. Again, we are off tomorrow. It's why we did this bonus show, because we wanted to talk to y'all today and now about what we just heard AK say.
Yeah.
Because the next time we will talk to y'all will be Saturday night when the Bulls are taking on the Warriors. So enjoy the start to your weekend. Enjoy
Costanza.
the end of your work week if you're a Monday to Friday person out there. Love you all. Thanks for tuning in. See you, be good.
Love y'all, man. Peace.
3.5 years ago.
We all silly like the mayor.